say tradition, we have to follow that tradition. The knowledge never changes. We change through the knowledge. Huh? You see that? We change through the knowledge. Knowledge means the truth. Huh? So here is another guy who is joining. Yeah, okay. So the knowledge changes us. And if it is the right knowledge, you learn it in a right perspective, then everything changes. So, Alexandria, his convo, who else is joining? Should we start?
I'm just going to ask everybody to remember to mute yourselves.
Yeah. Mute yourself. Don't mute your mind. Mute your mind. So, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So it is all adoration to the Master who passed on the wisdom to all of us. It is not an adoration to your own Master, but to all the Masters who passed on this wisdom to us. So we are going to understand and reflect on the first chapter of Gita. Gita. In the first two sessions, we understood the basics. What is Gita, from where the Gita has come, and what is the role of the Gita in our daily lives. So our goal is that how this Gita can work in our daily life. You see, Leslie, so it's besides yoga teachers training, it is how we can live. How do you live when you were a baby in the lap of a mother, totally protected? Huh? When we were a baby. So many masters say that this Gita is not less than a mother to live in this world, huh? Which is subjected to suffering, duality, conflicts. So Gita acts like a mother, protects. Not only it protects, huh? Mother nurtures, mother reshape. You know, the mother has seen us since our birth until now. So that is the role of a Gita. Gita, I told you before, it means song, song of self-discovery, song of existence, song. Huh? We also understood it contains 700 verses in 18 chapters, and every chapter is one yoga. It truly represents how yoga can be a way of life. How yoga can be a way of life. What is way of life? What is way of life? Way of life so that I think, I speak, I live and work with our highest goal. What is that goal? Think, speak, love, and work in peace, in happiness, in love, in wisdom, in creativity. That is the message of Gita. All the chapters. Each chapter defines one set of challenges and how to deal with that challenges. So, as we discussed before, do you still remember how to study Gita? To study yourself. That is first. And what are the three steps of learning? Do you remember? I do not know, let me know it. So, I should know the principle. And I do not understand, let me understand the principle. Asking as many questions as possible. Why? To have a broader perspective, to have a clarity, to have a conviction. And once you have it, then Master says you don't experience, you have clarity and conviction. So here are the practices. So when you practice, you change. So if I convert, so what happens? Where the change takes place? The change takes place in the mind. So when you have change, it takes place in the mind. It changes the brain. So when the brain changes, it changes your attitude and behavior. And it changes your behavior and attitude. It changes your personality. So what happens when the personality changes? It changes your personal life, how you're going to respond, think, behave, perceive, professional life, social life, family life. That is what the Gita is. Gita is not a fiction. You study, you read it, and throw the book. Every verse has to be understood in a right context. So when we say Gita is our mother, it means we need to have a faith. So what is that faith? Faith keeps you walking on until you succeed. Faith is not blind here. Faith means belief pending inquiry. That is what the faith in the yoga system is. Then you should have tremendous energy, enthusiasm. That keeps you continue the practice. You should have a right memory. My honey, he or she was my honey a couple of years back. Now, uh, now I have to divorce. Right memory. What is right memory? Based on the truth, not the alternative facts. This phrase has become very popular in the last couple of years. Practice, practice, keep practicing, keeps changing your mind and brain. And we need what is known as discernment. The word discernment. We have to filter out what is not required in my life. You are crazy, that thought is not required. Not at all. I have to see and find out how and why my mind blames you that you are crazy. That is required. That is what the discernment is. Sometimes by talking, I trigger your mind. Your mind goes into the memory lane and starts thinking. I can see from your face that's what I've been doing for the last 40 years. But anyhow, it's okay. You cannot hide. Why? Face is the index of mind. So keep smiling if you want to hide your challenges. So, so the first chapter is known as and as understood by great masters as Vishad Yoga. Vishad. Vishad means suffering. How the suffering can be yoga? That is what we are going to understand. Means there is a suffering, there is a suffering in my personal, professional, social life, and I follow the path, and my suffering increases in my life. So if I add yoga in the suffering, then what happens? Oh, I have to learn how the suffering can be changed. Vishad Yoga. Vishad Yoga. Suffering? How can that be yoga? I'm suffering from pain. How can that be yoga? That is what we are going to briefly understand. I studied, what I do that every month I keep 1 week only for Gita. I pick up a chapter and I spend about 3 hours or to 4 hours in that week. I have to study. And then I close my eyes and I ask my mind, do you understand? Yes, but I have to understand little more. So every time I study, I get something new. That is the beauty of the Gita. I've already referred you, Swami Chinmayanand. Gita offers us a new perspective. So you can have that book. I did not dare to write a book on Gita. I have yet to find little more. And then I will start. So now see that body. We are managing trustee of the body. Start from there. I am not the body. I am the managing trustee. So what is the trustee means? When you open a not-for-profit foundation, huh, and you are the chairman and you have $1 million in your account, can you use it for personal gains in a not-for-profit organization? No. That is the objective of the not-profit organization. You are doing it for not for solely for yourself. So they are known as trustee. Trust. So with that trust, we have to manage the body. We are managing trustee of the body and the mind. We are not the owner. I'm coming slowly deeper. We are not. We need to maintain the body. You know, KC, Lara, we have opened a not-for-profit organization. So KC takes care of that. All the accounts, as if it is her own, but we are not getting any benefit from there. Why we say? As we go further. So, first, what happens? The master in the Eastern wisdom, they say that first time we eat food, and that food is converted into semen or the egg. That is our first birth. The first birth somewhere has already taken place. Then we get married. Second birth is conception in the mother's womb. And the third birth, we have the physical body. Just for the sake of understanding. And that is also right. You see that? Semen in the egg is somewhere else. We don't know. I don't have a choice for my birth. Huh? Then we say soulmate. And out of nowhere, we appear in the parents' home. That is our third birth. So hold on to that idea. That is explained in one of the Upanishad. We have no choice but to maintain the body. We can manage by force or by joy or by pain. So because we are a managing trustee of this body, it means we have a duty to maintain this body, to keep it healthy, to keep it going. Why? Inside the body, the real self dwells, to discover that real self. That is the final goal of our life. The goal of our life is to evolve, discover, awaken to the real nature. What are the goals in life? To have a career, job, money, etc., etc., etc. So you see that Differentiate. Goals in life has a beginning and end. All goals in life. And goal of life has neither a beginning nor an end. What is the goal of life? Self-discovery. You have discovered peace. You continue the journey and you continue to evolve. There is no end to the human evolution. That is the message of the Gita. Whatever you are doing doesn't matter. In what conditions you are, it does not matter. You are in the most unfavorable condition in your life, the Gita as a mother can come to you and help you. That is the beauty of this teaching. It is not what action that you do, it is how you do it, with what attitude in the mind. So if my mind is fit, ready, right, follows the wisdom, any activity becomes a play and fun. Any activity. You have a problem you can find the solution of any problem and every problem. In the last two sessions, I told you what Einstein says about Gita, what great masters, scientists, and researchers they say. Even Carl Jung, talks about Gita. So we have to understand couple of characters in the Gita before. It is a part of the epic, a great epic, the largest epic known as Mahabharata, as I told you. 100,000 verses, 200,000 lines, out of which there is a specific portion which becomes the Gita. We have 60 Gitas. Now, first thing to understand what we do in our life. What is the goal of life? When we ask people, first goal, starting from kama means pleasure, all kinds of pleasure, from the physical pleasure, uh, eating pleasure, and we have accumulation of the wealth. All these pleasures we want to enjoy in our life. Second is earning artha, kam. By our activities, by our expertise, we want to earn wealth. Third kind of activity demands a value proposition, that if I'm living in a society, then I should follow the rules. Yeah, I should follow the rules. While I'm driving, it's a right driving. So, dharma, arth, kam. So, normally, if you ask, if one person is 70-year-old, so they start thinking how to save more money and how to do the reverse mortgage. That is why, these advertisers, they dupe us. Why? Mind start with understanding what society demands. Wealth, one. Second is, from that wealth we enjoy the pleasures. Third, what is that? Oh, some kind of a value system, so that I should not enter into any problem. At the social level, we have certain moral and ethical standard, so we follow. This is how we live our life. We start our life by understanding them at the adolescence, and we die with this. So Gita and the yoga says these three kinds of activities is not all. The fourth activity is moksha. Moksha means freedom from the suffering and awakening to the real nature. Are you getting it? So Gita, as a mother, says pleasure is not everything, money is not everything, value is not everything. There is something more in your life that you have to find out. It is self discovery, it is finding your real nature, it is bringing an end to all the suffering, because no amount of the wealth or the pleasure can help you live in permanent peace and happiness. Are you getting it? Do we have that proposition in our head, that idea in our life? We normally say what we say, uh, money is not everything, money cannot buy happiness. We say it, but do we live into it? Gita is questioning us. Gita, consider Gita as a mother. Mother is questioning, come on, are you living into that state? Do you question yourself? We receive pleasure from our partner. Now the partner is not giving us the same pleasure. Do we ever think? Do we ever think? No, we don't think. We say, you are responsible. Get lost. So Gita, as a mother, is asking, please have this thought in your mind also, that you have to bring an end to this. How long you are going to seek a pleasure from others? How long? Pleasure is not everything. How long you are going to be dependent on others? Are you getting it? I'm triggering your intellect and your mind. You see that? So there are, it is known as four purushartha, four goals of life, not the three. So Gita introduces the fourth goal, and that is the final goal. That is the goal of life. First three goals are artha, earning wealth. Wealth, different ways. Second, all seeking all kinds of pleasure. All pleasure includes sexual pleasure, eating pleasure, accumulation of wealth. That also gives us a pleasure. Third, value pleasure. What is the value? If I follow the discipline, rules of the society, that also helps me. You see that if you drive smoothly, you are not rewarded. But if you drive crazy, the cop comes and you are punished. Do you see that? Understand that we will take up later in a detailed way. So that is what the value proposition is. But the fourth one is the self discovery. I will continue to discover myself and live in peace and happiness. I have to see that. Gita says how long we live: 60, 80, 90, 100 years, 120. And out of that 120 years of the life, how long I live into that permanent peace and happiness. Every day I have one or the other problem, one or the other challenges. I say, give the same example, dating soulmate, and after a few months, sourmate. No couple is 100% believe their spouse. Can you tell me? Don't answer me. You can answer yourself. So the moment you say you believe your couple, your spouse 100%, so it means you have no differences in the mind. You believe your spouse 100%, it means there was no conflict, there was no difference. There is no difference between, no dispute between right hand and the left hand. That is what the means 100%. Do you see that? Do you understand that? So Gita says this journey, this education is urgent, immediate. From here and now, the moment you listen, that self discovery is my goal. And if you do not undertake a journey instantly, you are gone. You will continue to suffer. So, my master used to say that, your house is on fire and you call the fire department. Hey, hello, how are you? How are you doing? Come on, your house is on fire. Hey, how are you doing? So, how is your family? So, if you have time, then, my house is on fire. Come and save me. Will that work? This is what we have been doing in our day to day life. And then we claim, I have been so kind to my honey, I did everything for him and now, or her, then I am suffering. I always respected you, my boss, but you ditched me. Unwanted and crazy stuff that we bring in our life. And that causes more suffering. Do you understand that part? So when I say fire department, it means okay, I disagree with you, and then you continue to think against that person. The time comes, you want to part with it, you want to divorce, and you want to fight and react. So it is our own making. It is our own making. Gita mother says, please hold on. Gita says we are unprepared to in this battle of life. We are totally unprepared. And the Gita not only prepares, huh, it helps us to live that life of a joy. Many people say, I was not feeling well, that's why I did not attend your session. You must attend the session because you are not feeling well. Gita teaches this. And then they have a lot of excuses. You see that, I know it's very important. I will fight tooth and nail, but I still love you. What that means? Crazy stuff. I love to hate you, something like this, or I hate to love you, something, Are we crazy, confused? That is the first step. What is that confusion? What is that confusion? That confusion leads to suffering. Gita says, bring an end to the suffering. So there are three characters. So that you can understand, first let me explain you. First character is Arjuna in the Gita. I told you it is explained as a mythological story. So, and then it explains the masses of yoga. The first character is known as Arjuna. Arjuna. What is the meaning of Arjuna? Arjuna is a seeker. Why he is a seeker, we will understand that. So Arjuna means, the word Arjuna means simple, kind, always aspiring for knowledge, always helping others. And Krishna is the charioteer of yoga. Charioteer of that horse cart. The driver of the chariot of Arjuna is Krishna. Krishna is known as the originator of yoga. And Krishna is the disciple of, Krishna is the master of Arjuna. So there is a master and a disciple dialogue, master and a seeker dialogue. And you will find all the questions that you have in your mind. You are not able to solve the problems of your life. The Arjuna is asking the question because Arjuna is a great seeker and Krishna is answering. Did you get it? Now understand little bit about Krishna. No, I don't have time to do yoga. See that, I don't have time to do. What should I do? I'll find the time. I have yet to fight with lot of people until I start learning yoga. Now, this Krishna, who is the originator of yoga. So, this character, if you learn more about this character, it will blow your mind. He was born when his parents were in the prison. When he was 5 months old, a demon attacked him and wanted to kill him. 6 brothers died before he was born. Now see the situation. Do you have all these situations in your life? After birth, he had to go to the stepmother. Instead of a prince, he lived like a cowboy. He is the originator of yoga. Do you have all these challenges? Come on. We say, no, I have a lot of stress and suffering in my life. He had to eat poison. A treatment was given. He had to save himself from python. He had to kill his maternal uncle because he was a demon. He had to hide himself in a cave. He had to fight. But whenever he fought, he always won. He was always victorious. Do you want to have a victory in your day-to-day life? That is what Gita is all about. His enemies put fire in his house and he had to escape. Think Krishna is a human being like me, you, and he won every situation, condition. That Krishna is guiding his friend and his seeker, his disciple, friend disciple, Arjuna. That is the beauty of the Gita. You have more than 400 million copies of the Gita were sold in more than 32 languages. But these books keeps lying in the shelf. We continue to live our life. Uh, I have a lot of suffering. I don't have even a smile on the face. Mind does not have a time to bring the smile on the face. Look at it. Leslie, keep smiling. Where are you? So now, who will succeed in the battle of life? That is, first I will bring the principle and then we will see the situation. Whose intellect is guiding the what is right and good will always succeed. Whose intellect is ready to find what is right and good in the battle of our life, whenever we are suffering, whenever we have differences, whenever we have reaction in the mind, whenever we are crying. If we have the intellect, you agree? Are you listening? When we have that intellect, so it's not a question of blind belief. Remember this. Ask yourself, who will succeed in the battle of life? One who follows the intellect or one who follows the crazy mind? How do you live your daily life? Are you clear about the goal of life? Do you relax before you sleep? Practice relaxation and calm after waking up? Do you put an agenda or daily routine? That includes meditation. Practice because ultimate goal of life is self-discovery. Do you purify the mind every day to keep your mind clean, in peace and happiness? Gita is our mother. When we are born, Potty, she cleans. Hungry, she offers food. Gita is our mother. Once you accept that, you accept her as Gita as a mother and then follow her. See what happens. Brittany, Brandy, Alexandra, Alex, they don't show me. Are you girls listening? Yes. So now comes the another character, Duryodhana. Sometimes I'm a very simple guy. Sometimes I don't know whether you are listening or not. So
I don't always know whether or not I'm listening either. So
very good. I'm okay even if you are listening to me or you're not listening to me. My job is done. But very good. Now there is another character, Duryodhana. Duryodhana. So another character, Duryodhana. Duryodhana, let me write another character. Duryodhana. So there is you see that? So what in Mahabharata epic, the war, there is a battle between the two cousins. Duryodhana is a cousin of Arjuna. Duryodhana, the word Duryodhana means bad, always reacting, blaming, complaining, fighting, not giving any share, even if it belongs to you. So now we have three characters. One is Arjuna. Arjuna is a friend of Krishna who is the originator of yoga, who answers all the questions of life, burning questions of life. And Arjuna and Duryodhana are Arjuna and Duryodhana are cousins. Duryodhana, now see what happens. That from where the journey starts. What is that journey? Journey of life. What is that journey of life? So you see that the cousins owned a big kingdom. There's a long story, but I'm making it short. So Duryodhana has 100 brothers, and Arjuna has 5 brothers. They are facing a battle. Why they are facing a battle? Duryodhana is not ready to give even a one or two villages in the entire kingdom to his cousins. Now convert that metaphor, it's a character, into our life. I love my honey, but still now it's very difficult to live with him. You see, this is the real message of the Gita. Gita is a mother. So, when there are two siblings of the same age and they fight, what the mother says? Mother says to one baby, listen, he's your brother. Do you want to fight? Now, out of the two, one sibling says, you are right, mom. I will never fight with my sibling. Other says, no, he is always fighting with me. He is always reacting. He is blaming. He is complaining. I know, you all know about it. That is the battle of the sibling of Duryodhana and Arjuna. Do you see that battle continues in our life, in day-to-day life? Don't consider that sibling. It may be your friend, it may be your father, it may be your mother, it may be, any two people. Do you see that? Do you see that in our life? We might have fought that battle many a times without a solution. Gita, mother, offers us a solution. right? Now we have to understand the state of the mind of the one who continues to fight, whose final recourse is killing and divorce in that case of relationship. Not to talk, I will stop, I will not talk to you. I will not talk to you. Finished. Relationship is done. That is one approach. How many times you have done it? You see that? And the other approach is no, no, no. I will still learn. I will find out how my brother, how my sibling, how my friend, how my honey. You see? Two approach. From where that approach comes? From the intellect. So when you have that intellect, then suffering becomes suffering yoga. Then suffering does not remain suffering. I will divorce. I said, okay, what I want to know, even if you divorce, will you be happy after divorce? Why you married? You married to be happy. Now you divorce to be happy. Is it possible? So your happiness depends on, first depends on marriage, second depends on divorce. And I'm 100% sure your happiness further will depend on remarry. This is what we do in our daily life. Gita, as a mother, asks us, come on, understand. So Duryodhana. Now Krishna is the originator of yoga. Krishna was a great master. And then in that battle, now you see that. Apply that. Now that battle, old people, old guys, ask the Krishna, go to Duryodhana and teach him. Why he's fighting? He should give 5 villages to these 5 brothers so that they can live together. You know? Right advice? Why to fight? Why killing? So now that is very important. How we react in our life. Janami dharmam nacha me pravrti. So what Duryodhana replies and how we respond. Check your mind. So Krishna said, come on, give 5 villages, you need not to fight. It's okay. So what we say, don't talk to me. You do not understand how much suffering I had with this guy or this girl. Now I'm giving an example of marriage that can be applied anywhere, with the boss, with the relationship, anywhere. Huh? Not specifically, because that honey makes a sense because we use honey all the time. So when the Krishna said, give him, and what is the answer of Duryodhana? And what is the answer of Arjuna? So answer of Duryodhana cannot make you a seeker, and answer of Arjuna makes you a seeker. So what answer Duryodhana ki? Duryodhana says, Janami dharmam nacha me pravrti. Krishna. He says to the great master Krishna, you are teaching me yoga. I know everything about yoga. But I don't want to follow. How many times we say? Janami dharmam nacha me pravrti. Janami papam nacha me nivrati. I know what is wrong. But still my mind says, continue doing wrong. Are you getting it? Is it going into my job? My purpose is not to other. I should have taught yoga English translation and then done, finished. But if it does not enter into your life, It does not ask you do not start thinking about your life. Teaching of this Gita and the yoga is waste. Kenapi deven hridaya sitin. See that. I know what is right, but I am not able to practice what is right. I know what is wrong, but I am not able to keep away from it. I act as I am directed by some unknown power that is seated in my heart. That is why I always do wrong. I tried to kill my 5 cousins 10 times. I don't know why they are alive. That is the true story in this. You see the entire depiction. I'm sleeping and my sleep is disturbed. Why? Why? Because I'm reacting against John. Let me drop the reaction. Now, just an example. I'm reacting. So just me drop the reaction so I'll have a sound sleep. But what the Duryodhana is saying, no, I'm not able to do it. I will keep my enmity. I will keep my reaction intact. Why? There is some unknown forces within me that is not releasing these things. See that? I can't stop doing nasty things. Have we not said to our honey, you don't understand? Now the time has come. We have become Duryodhana. We are not a seeker. You may prove in the court with evidence that you are right and still you are suffering. That is the problem. Have you seen that? Battle of life. Mother Gita. Mother Gita. Mother saves us. And what the mother says, what the Arjuna says. You see that now I'm giving you another verse of and then we will understand. So Arjuna says, oh, there's a battle? And do you want me to kill my cousins? No, I'm not going to kill. It's better I will leave the kingdom. But I want to know, in these situations, what should I do? You see, suffering, my intellect is already awake. It is asking, what should I do? And Duryodhana says, I don't feel like doing what is right. That is my nature. Don't teach me yoga. He says to the Krishna, don't teach me meditation. I know everything. I know everything. But I don't feel like doing what is right. Arjuna says, this is curse. Why should I kill my brothers, own brothers, for the sake of kingdom, for the sake of the wealth, and for the sake of stuff that gives me only pleasure, that does not give me permanent happiness? I want to know, my friend, my teacher, Krishna, what should I do? That is the goal. That is the main theme of the first chapter. So you see, in the midst of suffering, I don't want to harm anybody. I feel that I am responsible for my stress and suffering. Now I want to know from here what step I should take so that I can live in peace and harmony and happiness. Are you getting it? One, Duryodhana will continue to suffer. He is normal. In the end, he is killed. All his 100 brothers are killed. So unless I kill all my negative reactions that is coming into my mind, there cannot be any solution in our day-to-day life. That is the message of the Gita. First, I have to get rid of my own mind, which is a demon living in me. I cannot do what is right. even though I know what is right. That attitude, that factor must go. If it doesn't go, then I cannot ask the question. Now, come to the Vishad, I sink down, I'm exhausted, in despair, I have lot of pain. I normally ask, what stress you have. They become philosopher. Who doesn't have stress in this life? I'm asking you. So I've already got an answer. It will take a lot of time to make him a seeker. See, the masses so direct. I'm terrified. I want to kill people. I don't feel like understanding the problem. No, we say that. I have already made a decision. Why? You are crazy. I have given you a certificate. That mind cannot change. That mind cannot become a seeker. I'm hammering your mind and head. Think of it. Why should I am hammering? Mother Gita is hammering. That is the knowledge. I like to stay in the bed because I like it. I do not feel like meditating. You see, thoughts. I can give you 1 million thoughts. And I learned from you guys for the last 40 years, guiding me. I did not learn by myself. I learned from you guys. A lot of people, my dad did not understand. That is why there is a problem. Oh, okay. Do you understand? Come on, do you understand? Are you awakened to your intellect? If yes, you will never think about others. You will say, let me put my intellect and my life in order first. Then I will see what I need to do. Message of the Gita. So here another character comes, but I'm not going to the character. I'm going directly to the problem. If we are physically blind, the other sense organs and the mind and intellect can help us to live our life. But if we are mentally blind, there is no way. This is the message in the first chapter. What is mentally blind? Not clear about the goal of life. I come to you and I say you crazy, and then your whole entire focus, energy, concentration is that how dare you say crazy, get out of me. Come on. Don't accept that certificate. Mentally blind, not clear about the goal of life, not clear about who we are, not clear, working with the wrong notion, thinking and actions, wrong perception about who am I makes you mentally blind. Are you getting it? How mind is seeking others. It is full of others that projects a happiness outside. It dominates the intellect. Identity crisis begins in my life, and then I continue to suffer. It is a blindness of the mind and ego. And in that blindness of the mind and ego, I'm always looking, searching, running for what I like and what is pleasant to me, even if it causes too much harm to you. That guy is not a seeker. Forget about it. Not a seeker of yoga. You don't want to solve your problem. Will understand what to do in that situation. That is what. So, mentally blind people are known as delusion. Mind lives with the delusion, and intellect follows it. There are there are delusions of many types. Last week, I had one uh, friend who has been attending this session for the last 2 or 3 years regularly. So he looked at my beard and he said, "No, I cannot be a guru now until I grow my beard like you." What a delusion. So I asked him, "What about the girls and the beautiful women, including your honey? They don't have any right to become a guru?" A very subtle delusion. What is that delusion? I give value to a person, to an object which is not there. That causes the suffering. So, what happens when I give a value to a person, an object which is not there? What appears true becomes true. And what appears true is not true, but it appears true. That is what is delusion. So, Duryodhana saw that delusion that I don't want to give even a single piece of land. Even if I give a single piece of land to my cousin, what will happen? They will start encroaching the land. And ultimately, they will encroach the entire kingdom. And I don't want to give. End of this delusion is the message of the first chapter. How to bring an end to this delusion? Arjuna says, "What should I do?" So when we have a problem, we go to the lawyer. What should I do? Lawyer says, "Pay me the fees." You are sure? I will definitely help you. With a disclaimer, you have chronic anxiety, you go to a psychotherapist. With disclaimer, Kate. Huh? So that psychotherapy says, "No worries, I will manage your anxiety." Means what? Anxiety will remain there with you, but I will continue to manage as long as you come to me. I'm sorry. I'm just making a disclaimer. That is delusion. I can give you hundreds of examples of delusion. So, this delusion causes the suffering. I must understand this. We'll bring an end to this today's topic, but we have to understand that from where this delusion has come. Original mistake. What is that original mistake? That what we claim we are not. What we think and speak and act, we are not. So we live in the delusion. The original mistake is giving a value and ultimately creating a wrong notion who we are, what we are, how we have to live. What a life without wife. In India, this is a famous proverb. So I'm suffering, so I'm not married, so what a life without a wife. So now I got married. What a life with a wife. You can reverse that, I'm sorry, we have more girls than boys. So original mistake. What is that original mistake there? That I depend for my happiness and peace outside. And that I don't realize. We give value to the wealth. Wealth is our honey, relationship, pleasure of security, happiness outside, but values are not there. It is the original mistake. It is the original mistake. So I told you all the 100 cousin brothers were killed by these 5 brothers on the other side. What will happen to your kingdom? I told you yesterday. I don't want to record that. Did I tell you the yesterday? You know my real life story.
You're recording.
Huh?
You're still recording.
Yeah, nobody knows the real story. So my dad said that I will not give you anything. By default, it came to me. You see that? It happened. It's a reality. I still have those big, orchard there. Who cares? I never even think of it. My son was saying, I said, you go there. I'm living here. One person finds it easy to cheat, harm, benefit by the situation of others, conditions of others. He does not have the right intellect. That person is careless, has already decided to cheat, takes for granted. That cannot enter into yoga. Other person feels it is not my way to cheat, harm people for my selfish benefit. I have to think, I have to apply my intellect, what I should be doing in this real life situation, so that I am not hurt, you are not hurt. In between, we will find the solution. Because why? We had no problem when we were not met 10 years before. We didn't know each other. Take an example. Now we met, now we have a problem. It means there is something going on. Let me clear, let me remove the blindness of the mind and see what solution we can offer. So it becomes a suffering yoga. Otherwise, it remains suffering. We continue to suffer. Are you getting it? Huh? Getting it? Getting it? I'll take another 5 minutes too. That's very important. So what happens when we become mentally blind? Then only we have a psychosomatic disorder. Why we become mentally blind? Because of delusion. What is the original mistake? You got it? That is the original mistake. I don't know who am I. I have wrong notions. Now the psychosomatic disorder. What is the psychosomatic disorder means? How the science explains? You have something cooking in your mind, mentally blind. And whatever you cooks, that travels to the body, returns to the mind. That is known as psychosomatic disorder. Understand in a simple way. Huh? Now, if you go to a medical doctor and ask them what is psychosomatic, they will use very typical words, and which you claim that you have understood, but you have not. So you have a reaction in the mind. So by prana, that travels to the body and the impact is done, and then it returns to the mind, you experience. That is what the psychosomatic disorder. Right? Clear? I want to complete it. So in the first chapter, Arjuna had this mental suffering, and in which all the symptoms of anxiety and the depressions are recorded. When Gita was written maybe 3,000 years ago from now. 3,000 years. What he says, the first chapter, I will get you some of the beautiful verses. I see Duryodhana. He sees the enemy. My limbs collapse. My mouth is parched. My mouth has become dry. He is explaining the symptoms. Arjuna, he says, my master, what should I do? What should I do? So I've already told you, if you go to a lawyer, what will happen? If you come to the Mother Gita, what is going to happen? Not to me. I'm saying what. So now see that. See, understand some of the words. I will put it. My body shakes and my hair stands on an end. It happens only in the delusion because of the original mistake. My, you know, everything is slipping from my hand. All my skin seems to be burning. What should I do, my master? That is how we explain to a psychotherapist and psychiatrist. So, what the Gita is saying, mentally blind. That causes all the symptoms. I am not able to stand, and my mind seems to be whirling. I see all omens. Oh, Keshava. There are different ways. So, I'm just keeping that, keeping, couple of verses so that you will know how to approach this Gita. So you can keep that in. You see that? Why should I kill my brother in this fight? And Krishna says you have to fight. You have to kill all of them. We'll understand that. Kill all of them. We have made our kins and kith and kins inside. I don't want him to come to me. Enough is enough. You see, big dialogues. Even enough is enough. Why are you suffering then? Let there be enough and enough. Say goodbye. Are you in peace and happiness? Done. When I say enough is enough, I start suffering more than before. You see, this is what the Gita comes to us. Sin. What should I do? What should I do? How should I do? Oh my Krishna. Well, we'll take few questions if you have any, and then we'll bring in that. So, second week we will take up the second chapter. Suffering yoga means I have to find out the original cause of my suffering. Original cause, not the secondary cause. Do you understand that? Then suffering becomes yoga. And original cause, because I'm living in delusion, I'm mentally blind. I have to uncover that mental blindness. Why? Then I'm ready to learn what yoga, what Gita offers me. Yes, Jackery. I had the 14-year-old Jackery in New Jersey. He had a lot of breathing problem. And now he's all right. Yes.
I was wondering about, so practicing like the Yoga Sutras, that's the way out of like the mental where the mental blindness is that?
You see, Jackery, that all these different texts approaches our life differently, but the principles remains the same. After that, I would say yes. So 3 states of the mind causes the mental blindness. 4th and the 5th shows you the path. You're right. Perfectly right. That's the right way to think. That is why when we study the different texts, our intellect mind gets opened up. Oh, this is one approach. This is second approach. This is third approach. And then what happens? The mind gets a clarity. Yes, that's a very good question as well as statement. Whatever you are writing should not remain on the paper, and you should not forget it. I will keep your mind triggering out of love. You should apply that in your life. Everything is written in Gita. What I'm talking. Okay, that is all. Any more question? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tolerating me. You guys are good, you tolerate.